Hello everyone. For me, one of the nicest bonuses of browsing through a retro game collection is occasionally stumbling across a familiar name that you now either recognise from contemporary games or from classic games that came later on in their career. For example, last summer I was browsing through some old Amiga magazine cover discs that have been living up in my attic for the last 20 years, and this disc with a few public domain games on it caught my eye. Public domain, by the way, was what the indie scene was known as in those days. It was largely comprised of bedroom coders and small teams. Anyway, when I loaded up Trek Trivia, I was greeted with one of these familiar names. George Broussard, co-founder of Apogee / 3D Realms and creator of Duke Nukem 3D, released 10 volumes of Trek Trivia back in 1988. You're looking at footage of Volume 1, which is the only volume on that Amiga action disc. But they're all the same in terms of presentation and graphics, which would make sense since they were released at the same time, or, near enough as far as I can tell. The structure is quite simple. Make your way through 100 multiple choice questions about Star Trek. The original series, that is, nothing about the Next Generation, because after all, the first episodes of that had only aired the year before. You get 5 Quataloos, which is a unit of currency featured in one of the episodes of the original Trek. And you lose one of those if you get a question wrong. Go broke, and it's game over, and you're graded on your performance. Every 10 questions answered correctly earned you an extra Quataloo. Only I never got an extra Quataloo because I must shamefully admit the original series is the one Trek series I've never actually watched beyond a handful of episodes in the films. So I got ranked either as an Academy dropout or mess hall cook every time. This quiz is for the fans that know Star Trek back to front. You're expected to know the names of planets visited in certain episodes, who said and did what, details about one-off aliens and events, the whole Trekkie works. Although, having said that, the Federation abolished money, so who actually needs these Quataloos anyway, eh? Apogee also released an MS-DOS version of the game programmed by Scott Miller. It doesn't appear to be the exact same game. For a start, you get a lot more chances, 20 of them in fact, and they're called credits instead of Quataloos. Also, it's not that the Amiga version was going to win awards for its looks, but the MS-DOS version just used the MS-DOS character set. Then that was where PC gaming was at in 1988, I suppose. PC gaming, eh? It'll never catch on. I don't need to tell any of you, though, that it did actually catch on. Broussard went on to program 3 volumes of Star Trek The Next Generation trivia in 1990 for MS-DOS. I've confirmed with him that these never made their way over to Amiga. Instead, attention had shifted to the IBM-compatible PC scene, with Apogee publishing id Software's Commander Keen that year, and developing and publishing the first Duke Nukem game the year after. For Amiga owners, we'll always have those original volumes, with their cute little Starship Enterprise flying through space at the bottom of the screen. And I should probably get around to watching the original series on Netflix, so one day I may have a chance of answering more than a handful of questions in Volume 1. But until that time, thanks to George for answering my questions. You can follow him on Twitter at GeorgeB3DR. You can also follow me on Twitter at Mr. Tom. And if you see fit to like this video and maybe even subscribe, that would be nice too. Oh, and press that alarm button. That's something I hear YouTubers ask people to do, so it must be good. Do that. Bye for now.